Jnanakosha, Puranas.
सर्गश्च प्रतिसर्गश्च वंशो मन्वन्तराणि च वंशानुचरितं चैव पुराणं पञ्चलक्षणम्.
Shiva Puranam, Rudra Samhita. The birth of Bhauma, Mars. Once when the Ganas of Shiva praised the glory of Mother Sati, Lord Shiva became overjoyed just like an ordinary human being. In his joy he travelled all around the three worlds without any clothes on his body. He returned back to Kailash and went into meditation. While he was engrossed in his samadhi, 3 drops of perspiration originated from his forehead, fell down on the earth. From those drops manifested a very beautiful infant who was of reddish complexion and who had 4 arms. Seeing the child, Lord Shiva became concerned about his upbringing. Right then, Mother Earth manifested and Lord Shiva entrusted the job of child's upbringing. The child was brought up by Mother Earth with great love and care. The child was named Bhauma, as he was nurtured and brought up by Bhumi. When the child grew up, he went to Kashi and did a tremendous penance to please Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva became pleased with him and blessed him by granting him Mangala Loka, which was superior even to the Shukra Loka. The same Bhauma is established in the solar system by the name of Mars. Shiva arrives at Himalaya and conversation with Parvati. One day, Lord Shiva, accompanied by his Ganas like Bringi, Nandi, arrived at Himalaya with the purpose of doing penance. When Parvati, Father Himalaya, came to know about his arrival, he went to receive him. After he had made his salutations to Shiva, he was instructed by Shiva to see that he is not disturbed while doing his penance. Himalaya made all the necessary arrangements so that Lord Shiva could perform his penance without being disturbed. One day Himalaya arrived at the place where Lord Shiva was doing his penance. Parvati too came along with him. Himalaya requested him to keep Parvati so that she could be at his service. Lord Shiva declined to keep her with him, fearing her presence might cause hindrance in the path of his penance. Now Himalaya became very concerned about his daughter's future and wondered whether Parvati would remain unmarried. When Parvati saw her father becoming worried by Shiva's response, she decided to intervene. She said to Lord Shiva, I am Prakriti, nature, and you are the Purusha, Almighty. You exist in the Shagun form because of me. In my absence, you will find it impossible even to exist. Lord Shiva was impressed by her knowledge. He allowed her to be present near him. Himalaya and Parvati became very pleased. Parvati used to come daily at the place where Lord Shiva was doing his penance. Her companions too used to come along. She used to engage herself in the worship of Lord Shiva with great devotion. Though Lord Shiva was very much impressed by her devotion, but he decided that he won't marry her until she has proved her mettle by her tremendous penance. The deities were tormented by a demon named Tarakasura. They went to Lord Brahma to seek his help. Lord Brahma sent Kamadeva to disturb the samadhi of Shiva so that, being influenced by him, Shiva married Parvati and ultimately killed Tarakasura. This attempt of Brahma was unsuccessful. Shiva burnt Kamadeva with the help of his third eye. Parvati then redoubled her effort to attract the attention of Shiva by engaging herself in a tremendous penance. The birth of Vajrang. Narada was curious to know about Tarakasura. He asked Brahma to narrate his tale. Brahma said, Kashyapa, the son of Marichi, had 13 wives. Diti was the eldest among them. She was the mother of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Both her sons were killed by Lord Vishnu in his incarnations of Narsimha and Varaha respectively. Diti became very sad by the death of her sons. After some time she again became pregnant, but the fetus was destroyed by Indra's weapon, Vajra, in the womb itself. However, Indra was not able to destroy the fetus completely, but was only successful in dividing the fetus into 49 parts. These 49 parts later on became famous as Maradgunas. Again Diti gave birth to Vajranga, who was very valiant and brave. When he grew up, Diti ordered him to defeat the deities. With his mother's permission and blessings, Vajrang defeated the deities and held them captive. He fastened all the deities with strings and himself became the king of heaven. Seeing the pitiable state of the deities, I went to Vajrang accompanied by Kashyapa and requested him to free the deities. Vajrang agreed to free them but said he did not have any aspiration of becoming the king of heaven. He only wanted to teach a lesson to Indra. Vajrang returned the heaven to the deities. Later on, he married Vajrangi, who had been created by me, Brahma. While Vajrang was of virtuous nature, Vajrangi was met. Birth of Tarakasura and his penance. Varangi gave birth to Tarakasura, the valiant and brave demon. During the time of his birth, the world was afflicted by inauspicious events like earthquakes, cyclones. His name Tarakasura was given by Kashyapa. After he grew up, Tarakasura went to Madhuvan to do penance. His tremendous penance scared the deities. Becoming pleased by his penance, Lord Brahma appeared before him and asked him to demand anything. Tarakasura demanded 2 boons. There should be no man as powerful as him, and except Shiva's sons, nobody should be able to kill him. Lord Brahma blessed him by saying, Tadastu. After receiving the boons, Tarakasura returned back to Ronithpur and was crowned as the king by Shukracharya. He then defeated the deities and threw them out from the heaven. Now it came under the rule of the demons. After being driven away from the heaven, the deities went to Lord Brahma to seek his help. They asked him as to how they could get rid of the menace called Tarakasura. Brahma revealed to the deities that Tarakasura could be killed only by such a person whose parents are Shiva and Parvati. He also advised them to make efforts so that Shiva agrees to marry Parvati. Lord Brahma then went to Tarakasura, who had now become the king of heaven, and tried to convince him to return it back to the deities. Tarakasura agreed to relinquish the heaven and give it back to the deities. The deities went back to the heaven. Kamadeva reduced to ashes by Shiva. Lord Brahma told Narada that the deities decided to send Kamadeva to influence Lord Shiva so that the marriage between him and Parvati is felicitated. Indra called Kamadeva and told him that demon king Tarakasura could be killed only by such a person who was the son of Shiva and Parvati. Indra instructed Kamadeva to arouse passion in Lord Shiva so that he agrees to marry Parvati. Kamadeva, accompanied by his wife Rati, went to Lord Shiva to accomplish his mission. After reaching the place where Lord Shiva was engrossed in his meditation, Kamadeva made repeated attempts to arouse passion in the heart of Lord Shiva, but his actions were no avail. Right then Kamadeva saw Parvati arriving accompanied by her companions. She was looking divine in her beauty. Just at that moment, Lord Shiva too had come out of his meditational trance. Kamadeva thought that it was the most appropriate moment to have a go. Kamadeva struck Lord Shiva with his kambana, which did have a deep impact on him. Lord Shiva was struck by the awesome beauty of Parvati and his heart became full of passion for her. But at the same time, he was surprised at the sudden change in his behavior. He realized that it was an act of Kamadeva. Lord Shiva looked all around him. He saw Kamadeva standing towards his left side with a bow and arrows on his hand. Now he was fully convinced that it was indeed an act of Kamadeva. Kamadeva became terrified. He started remembering God, but before the deities could come at his rescue, the third eye of the Lord Shiva got opened and Kamadeva was reduced to ashes. Parvati got scared after seeing Lord Shiva in such a destructive anger. She went to her house along with her companion. Rati, the wife of Kamadeva, wept inconsolably. The deities arrived and consoled her by saying that by the grace of Lord Shiva, her husband would be alive once again. After that, the deities went near Lord Shiva and did his worship. They told him that it was not the fault of Kamadeva as he had acted in accordance with the aspirations of the deities. They also told him the mystery of Tarakasura's death. The deities then requested him to make Kamadeva alive once again. Lord Shiva told the deities that Kamadeva would take birth as the son of Krishna and Rukmini in the era of Dwapar. A demon by name of Shambar would throw him off in the sea. He would kill that demon and marry Rati, who too would be living in a city near the sea. But the deities were not satisfied. They requested Lord Shiva to help Rati to unite with her husband. Lord Shiva then told them that Kamadeva would become his Gana, but he also warned them against revealing this fact to anybody. Rati then went to the city where the demon Shambar was expected to appear in the era of Dwapar. The deities too went back to the heaven. Lord Shiva's anger did not subside after the death of Kamadeva, and the whole world started to feel the wrath of Lord Shiva's fury. All the living creatures became terrified. They went to Lord Brahma and prayed to him to save them from Shiva's wrath. Lord Brahma went to Lord Shiva and conveyed their request to him. Lord Shiva agreed to relinquish his anger. Lord Brahma then carried Shiva's fury to the sea and went to the sea. He requested the sea to possess it until the final annihilation. The sea agreed to do this. This way Lord Shiva's fury entered into the sea and all the living creatures felt a sign of relief. Narada preaches Parvati does penance. When Parvati reached her home, she became very sad as she was unable to bear the sorrow of Shiva's separation. Sage Narada arrived there. Her father Himalaya narrated the whole story to him. Sage Narada then gave the 5-lettered mantra Om Namah Shivaya to her, and he also instructed her to do penance. Parvati's heart was filled up with new enthusiasm. After taking the permission of her parents and relinquishing all of her ornaments and royal apparels, Parvati went to the same place where Lord Shiva himself had done penance. This sacred place was situated at the Himalayas, from where the holy Ganges originated. Parvati's companions too had accompanied her. Parvati commenced her penance, which gradually became severer day by day. She did penance for 3,000 years by chanting the 5-lettered mantra Om Namah Shivaya and performing her other kinds of austerities. Becoming impressed by her tremendous penance, even the deities flocked to see her. Parvati did her penance surrounded by fire on all her sides during summer. In rainy season she did her penance without any shelter, and during winter she used to do penance by immersing herself in neck-deep water. Parvati's power created such heat in the atmosphere that the whole world started to burn. All the deities and sages went to Lord Brahma and told him about the effects Parvati's penance was having on all the three worlds. Lord Brahma, accompanied by all of them, went to Vishnu. They visited the place where Parvati was doing her penance. They realized that Lord Shiva was the only remedy, and hence all of them went to Lord Shiva and made salutations to him. Lord Shiva inquired about the purpose of their arrival. Lord Vishnu then revealed to him that how distressed and tormented were the deities by the activities of the demon Tarakasura. He also told Shiva that he could be killed by such a person who is born out of the parentage of Shiva and Parvati. Lord Vishnu then told Shiva about Parvati's penance. Initially, Lord Shiva refused to comply with their request, but when the deities continued with their insistence, he ultimately gave his consent. The deities became very pleased. Parvati's love for Shiva, tested by Saptarishis and Shiva. After the deities went back, Lord Shiva summoned the Saptarishis and instructed them to test Parvati's love for him. The Saptarishis went to Parvati and tested her resolve to marry Lord Shiva. They tried to deter her by all means, but Parvati was firm in her resolve. They went back to Lord Shiva and narrated the whole story. Lord Shiva then himself went to Parvati in the guise of a Brahmin. Parvati, on seeing a Brahmin, welcomed her with full honor. Shiva asked Parvati as to why was she doing penance. Parvati told him that she wanted to have Shiva as her husband. Lord Shiva, who was in the guise of a Brahmin, started cursing Shiva to see how Parvati reacted to it. Parvati replied that in spite of her penance, Shiva did not appear, so she has decided to give up her life in burning fire. After saying like this, Parvati requested the Brahmin to go back, and she herself entered into the burning fire but remained unharmed. Lord Shiva was very pleased to see her firm resolve and devotion. He again asked her as to what was the purpose behind doing such a tremendous penance. Parvati told the Brahmin, who in reality was Shiva himself, that she wanted to have Shiva as her husband at any cost. She said, "You say that Lord Shiva does not possess anything, not even wealth. He does not put on clothes on his body. You also say that he is not fit to be a bridegroom of me. But all of your utterances prove your mean intelligence." Parvati, continuing with her statement, said that Shiva was the most capable deity in all the three worlds. There is no sin greater than condemning Shiva, said Parvati. As Shiva, who was in the guise of Brahmin, was about to say something, Parvati said to one of her companions, "This condemner should be killed. If this is not possible, then we must leave this place at once." As she was about to leave that place, Lord Shiva revealed his true identity, and by holding her hand said, "You have been my wife since time immortal. Where are you going?" Parvati became very pleased, and her heart was filled up with extreme joy. She requested him to take to her father regarding their marriage. Lord Shiva agreed. He went back to Kailasha mountain and narrated the whole story to his Ganas, Nandi, Bhairava. Everyone became very happy and waited eagerly for the day Shiva would marry Parvati. Shiva demanded Parvati as his consort. Parvati, after successfully accomplishing her penance, came back to her home. Everybody was happy at arrival. After some time, Himalaya went out to take his bath in the river Ganges. Meanwhile, Lord Shiva arrived in his appearance of Nataraja and started dancing in front of the Parvati's mother, Maina. She was so pleased by his dance that she wanted to present jewels to him in appreciation, but Shiva refused to take them. He expressed his desire to marry Parvati, which made Maina furious. In the meantime, Himalaya arrived and informed him that Shiva had said. He became angry too and ordered his attendants to drive away Nataraja from that place. Shiva then showed his divine appearance, due to which Himalaya had the vision of Lord Vishnu and Parvati sitting by the side of Lord Shiva in him. Himalaya was very surprised. Lord Shiva again demanded Parvati to be made as his consort, but Himalaya, in his ignorance, again refused it. Nataraja then returned back to his abode. After Shiva went back, Himalaya had a feeling that perhaps it was Lord Shiva himself who had arrived in the appearance of Nataraja. He realized what a grave blunder had been committed. Because of their guilt consciousness, both Maina and Himalaya felt the germination of devotion in their heart. Indra and the other deities became afraid when they saw both Himalaya and Maina having deep devotion towards Lord Shiva. They apprehended that if Himalaya happily agrees to marry Parvati with Shiva, then he would no longer live on the earth. He would attain salvation. His departure would make the earth devoid of jewels and other kinds of wealth. To prevent this from happening, they went to Brihaspati and requested him to influence Himalaya's mind by condemning Shiva. But Brihaspati refused to comply. The deities then went to Lord Shiva and made the same request. Brahma refused to meet their demand. Now the deities went to Lord Shiva and requested him not to marry Parvati, as it would make the earth devoid of all kinds of wealth. Lord Shiva, feeling pity, agreed to help them. Lord Shiva went to Himalaya in the guise of a hermit and started cursing himself. Maina was deeply influenced by the hermit's word and decided not to marry Parvati with Shiva. She also threatened to give up her life along with Parvati if Parvati was married with Shiva against her wish. Lord Shiva summoned the Saptarishis and instructed them to convince Maina and Himalaya to marry Parvati with him so that Tarakasura could be killed. He feared that his actions would have created many misconceptions in their mind. The Saptarishis went to Himalaya and tried to make him so that Tarakasura could be killed. He feared that his actions would have created many misconceptions in their mind. The Saptarishis went to Himalaya and tried to make him understand that there was not any other way out than marrying Parvati with Shiva. They also warned both Himalaya and Maina if they did not give their consent to marry Parvati with Shiva, then she would be forcefully abducted by him, causing death and destruction to their whole clan. The Saptarishis then narrated the story.